Welcome to Cannes Film Festival. We're very excited to be here. It's great weather in Cannes. And during this week, we're going to follow the competition movies. We're going to attend the red carpet, the press conferences, and we're also going to attend events that belongs to the film festival. Enjoy. Tonight, the movie The Dead Don't Die has its premiere, and it's also the opening movie of the film festival. We're going to find actors like Adam Driver, Danny Glover, Bill Murray, Tilda Swinton, and so on. And now we're going to see the red carpet.
L'équipe de The Dead Don't Die, menée par son réalisateur, Monsieur Jim Jarmusch. Jim Jarmusch, accompagné de ses comédiens Bill Murray et Adam Driver. Également avec lui, les producteurs Carter Logarnier et Josh Pack. Hotel Don't Die, Strangers and Paradise, qui en 1984 lui avait valu la caméra d'or. Mystery donne le plaisir de retrouver Monsieur Bill Murray. Acteur de Malcolm et Murray et Edwood, Paddle Rock, présenté à Cannes. Plaisir également de retrouver Adam Driver qui, l'an passé, présentait deux films à Cannes, 95, le Symphony, faisait ses débuts à Cannes dans Kills, on l'a revu dans Demon Lover de Grand Valley. À Cannes comme réalisatrice, puisqu'elle montrera son court-métrage White Echo. Nous avons le plaisir d'accueillir Selena Gomez. On a vu le film de Jim Jarmusch présenté en ouverture du 72e Festival de Cannes.
Today is the press conference of the movie The Dead Don't Die that had its premiere last night as the opening film of the film festival. And the writer and the director of this movie is Jim Jarmusch.
All right, guys, I'm very happy to be here with all the talents from The Dead Don't Die, the first film in competition in Cannes this year. Yeah, come on! Next to him, a gentleman who doesn't need any introduction, Mr. Bill Murray. Please, some applause for Madame Tilda Swinton. He won 4 prizes in Cannes already. Ladies and gentlemen, Monsieur Jim Jarmusch.
I wanted to avoid making too much of a kind of splatter blood film, which is also why I wanted the zombies to be desiccated and only dried up dust, because otherwise the film would have really been a bloodbath. And I kind of wanted to get most of the bloody stuff out of the way with our first hero zombies, the coffee zombies. But yeah, I don't know. I think of this as a horror comedy, but the balance of it, I am not the best person to even understand that yet. So sorry for that inarticulate answer.
But I do remember the first time I heard Jim mention this film. I mean, I would say that actually, in answer to the previous questioner, in Only Lovers Left Alive, we do have zombies. Zombies do make an appearance, they're mentioned, and I remember thinking at the time, ooh, I bet you Jim's going to not be able to resist making a zombie film next. And he did quite soon after we made that film say to me, we're going to make a zombie film, what do you think? Way before there was a script. So yes, I did read the whole script, although the script is one thing and the film is something else. So there are always surprises. And we all saw, well, not Jim, but the rest of us all saw the film for the first time last night. So yeah, we were agog.
I'm going to work a little harder than I've been working on some of the other questions, because I think yours is a good one, and the others were not. I think this is what we do for a living up here. This is what we do, and speaking only for myself, I'd say I'm at my best when I'm working for a living. That when I'm not working, I'm lazy, and I feel the vitality of film is a sort of representation of the best of my current state of consciousness, if you will. So I'm a better person when I'm working on a film. So the two are close for me. The state of my work in a film is pretty much the high point of the week or the month or the year of my state in life. And my concern for the planet is mirrored, is explained and demonstrated in my concern for a film and the people that I work with on a film. So this is how I operate. This is my opportunity, my chance, the one that I demand of myself, that I bring the most of myself to. And you know, even this is sort of my work in film. I'm trying hard to be with you here, you know. So this is my little ice floe that I stand on, and I hope it doesn't melt.
Question right here.
Hello, good morning. This is Laura Sanchez from W Radio Colombia. My question is for Bill Murray. Good evening, Bill Murray. It's a pleasure to...
Good evening.
I hope my question is not too difficult. Do you believe in life after death? I'm wondering, because you were chasing ghosts first and now you're chasing zombies. Does this idea cross your mind? Thank you.
I'm going to chase you.
You can do it.
I'm going to chase you. I believe in life after death, but not for everyone. So, heads up. Some of you I'll see, and some of you I might not. Truly, I mean.
Anyway, thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Now I'm standing here with Fredrik Sander, that is executive producer for Chimney. Welcome to Cannes.
Thank you so much.
The company you're working for has been a part of the visual effects for the movie The Dead Don't Die. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. I mean, it's been a very long process. We've been working with Jim and his creative team for over a year to try to sort of create these effects on the zombies that sort of Jim had sort of a slight vision on what he wanted. So we worked very close to him to sort of create that look. We started the work even before they started to shoot the film, because a lot of this had to be prepared and had to be shot in a certain way in order for us to be able to create these effects after the shoot. The next sort of step that we took, that was we were very much involved also in the shooting of the film. We were shooting the film upstate New York, so we had our VFX supervisors and our VFX teams up there together with the rest of the crew, making sure that they shot the film in a way that we could work with.
So you're also, in a sense, very much involved in the production.
Absolutely. On any film, and I think especially this one, where the visual effects is such a big part of the film and the story, it is very important to be involved at the very beginning. We have spent a lot of time working together with Jim and his creative team, and it's been an amazing journey, going from just sort of an idea that he had and trying to sort of help him to sort of visualize that. This is the first film that Jim has done that has any sort of any major VFX elements in them. So it was also a way to try to educate him in what can be done and what cannot be done, and really try to be true to his vision of the film.
Et nous avons maintenant le plaisir d'accueillir l'équipe de Rocketman. Dans lequel il avait joué son propre rôle face à Taron Egerton.
Now we're going to attend a press conference for the movie The Rocketman, that is about Elton John. And the director for this movie is Dexter Fletcher.
Hello, everybody.
All right, guys. I'm going to open the floor to the questioning in 1 minute, but I want to ask you, I was in the room yesterday. This was unbelievable. What was you feeling, to all of you, at the end of the screening? Taron, you were like... crying.
All right, let's stop talking about it. I got a bit emotional. It was one of the best days of my life. We've worked really hard to try and make something that we're all really proud of, and it's not your typical biopic. We don't deal with the songs in a chronological order. There's elements of fantasy. We take some license with the truth. In the interest of full disclosure, people did not float off the ground at the Troubadour.
Are you sure?
You know, and the response has been so wonderful. And for me personally, thank you so much to everyone that said nice things. You've made a young man from Aberystwyth incredibly happy, and you've made a 72-year-old rock star even more happy. So thank you so much.
Dexter?
Yeah, I think, like, to echo what Taryn and Richard are saying, you know, it was very emotional for a number of reasons to sit there with Bernie Taupin and Elton and David Furnish, his husband as well, you know, and have that moment where they get to sit and watch the film all together and us be there, you know, as the filmmakers and experience it with them. Was, I think, more emotional than any of us ever really expected. I mean, we thought, hey, we're going to Cannes, it's going to be a great night, and we're all going to sit and watch a movie, that's fantastic. But then, of course, you know, the enormity of what you're faced with the people whose lives it's very real for them, you know. And there's obviously, you know, the movie attempts to be emotional and you know, touches on some very deep-rooted feelings and moments in their lives. And to see that really visceral, emotional reaction from Elton and from Bernie, I think for us all was a bit of a, you know, took us back. And so it was great to be caught up in that and be part of that whole journey really for them, because it's a long journey for them.
Right.
This is a privilege, because normally when you're telling the story of someone's life, they're gone, you know, and there was none of that loss. It was only celebration at the end. And I think that's something, you know, to hear Elton crying just a few seats away from us, I mean, that is incredibly surreal, and what an honor to be a part of that, you know, my goodness.
Absolutely. Well, it was one of those screenings. We got a question right here.
Good afternoon, Peter Howell from the Toronto Star in Canada. Congratulations on the movie, enjoyed it a lot. I have a question for Taron Egerton and Dexter Fletcher. Did Elton give you any specific instructions or advice on how he wanted to be portrayed? And also, did he tell you anything that he did not want put in the movie?
Well, we can't tell you that. Oh, no. Do you want to go?
I think our primary concern and our mandate was always that we were going to try and tell a story that didn't try and... It's a celebration that doesn't mean that we've sought to deify Elton or make him flawless or perfect. We wanted to tell a human story. Elton is an extraordinary human being, but he's still a human being, and so that's why you see the troughs as well as the peaks. It was a risk on many levels, and we have been very fortunate in that we've had a very brave studio work with us to achieve that, and we are so proud. And you know, Elton, not a lot makes him blush, so you know he's very at peace with us telling the story in that way.
Yeah, he was always very clear from the beginning, and when I first read the script and when we first started discussing it, he's very clear that he didn't want it to be self-serving. There's no upside for him in that, and he's always been very clear and honest and open about who he is, and the film attempts to reflect that and be a part of that as well. And so I think that's one of its great strengths, is that it's not hidden, and that's why it's so full of this kind of joy and joie de vivre, you know, this kind of lust for life almost, really. That's what it's trying to communicate and be a part of that. And the answer to your question is generally no. There wasn't anywhere, there was nowhere that I couldn't shine a light. There was no dark corner where he was like, don't go, you know, if it serviced what the film needed and wanted to be at any particular time, then that's where we went. And he backed off and let us play. He let us tell the story, and that was the great strength of it. And so that's why I feel that it is a success on so many levels for us personally, but for him as well. It's very important that he loves it. You know.
Right, we have a question over there.
Hi, my name is Marcus. I work for Onepress TV in Sweden. I want to ask Taron Egerton a question. What did it mean to you to play the role as Elton John, and how did you prepare yourself for the role?
I think, you know, the thing about Elton and the reason, you know, the movie has garnered such attention and focus is because Elton is as much an idea, and you know, he's a global phenomenon, and people feel a sense of ownership over Elton's work because these songs, you know, they highlight moments in our lives, which is, you know, why everyone feels such a personal investment in him and his life story. So to portray him has felt like a huge honor and a huge responsibility, and it, you know, it just feels the enormity of it is borderline overwhelming. So there's that but then also I've gotten to know him, and I'm very proud to call him a friend. And he is the kindest, most interested, warm man, and that has always that has made it feel very important to me. In terms of preparation, you immerse yourself in his music, and the invaluable thing, and this echoes what Bryce was saying, my great privilege and my great fortune was that I was able to spend a lot of time with him and talk to him about anything. So I prepared by being with him largely, and having that wonderful privilege of being able to know everything, because you really can ask him anything. He's so much fun. I mean, he'll tell you everything.
We got a question over there.
Hi there, my name is Jamie Johnson from The Telegraph in London. It's a question for Richard Madden. I'm not sure if you're a betting man at all, but your odds have shortened to 2-1 to take over from Daniel Craig as the next James Bond. Now, I only bring this up because you wore the signature white tuxedo and pulled it off very well, may I say, last night. It's a done deal, isn't it?
It's very flattering to be involved in that conversation at all, but it's all just talk, and I'm sure next week it'll be someone different.
Welcome to Cannes, William Dafoe and Abel Ferreira.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be in Cannes? Are you enjoying your time?
I'm having a good time by the beach, fancy hotel.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm happy because presenting this film, Tommaso, and also before I presented Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. So 2 films in Cannes. You see old friends. Finally, the weather has gotten nice. Haven't gotten a chance to see films because I've been talking to press, talking to people like you. Yeah. So it's your fault that I don't see these films.
Exactly. You mentioned shortly you're here with 2 movies, The Lighthouse and The Tommaso. Congratulations for that. And you're the writer, Abel Ferreira, you're the writer and the director of Tommaso. Congratulations for having your movie nominated here in Cannes. Nominating to be in Cannes. What does it mean to you to have your movie here in Cannes?
I mean, well, you know, Cannes is a place we've been coming to for a long time, you know. So it's, you know, it's to show films in France, which are, you know, it's a place that really not only loves films, supports films, feel that, you know, films are important. Not just the showing of them, the writing about them, the conversation about them. You know, it's one of the reasons I live in Europe. There's appreciation for the work and appreciation for the, you know.
And the movie had recently premiered here in Cannes. What was your first reaction after seeing the movie?
Tommaso. You know, I had seen it in various stages of cuts because he would show me cuts. Always when I see a movie, I think of the experience of making it, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
And Abel Ferreira, I was thinking if you could describe shortly for the audience what's the movie about.
It's about an artist, a film director living in Rome, younger wife, a new child. Just kind of his day-to-day existence, you know, his personal life. He's planning a new film. It's the life of an artist, really.
And where did you get your inspiration of when you were doing the movie?
Of an artist is not such a young man. That was the alternate title. What got me interested in what?
No, what was your inspiration of the movie?
What's my inspiration for this movie? You know, it's a great question. And
the life.
Is the 6th time.
The life. The life. The life.
Yeah, that's the answer. It's the 6th time I've been asked that question, and I still haven't come up with the right answer.
I'm
the
giving
life
it to you, man.
You got it 3 times. The life. The life.
Yeah. And William Dafoe?
Yes.
First, before we talk about your character, first I want to say I was impressed that you were speaking Italian quite a lot. Was that a challenge for you, or?
We both live in Italy, and for an Italian speaker, my Italian is not that great, and to improvise in Italian is difficult. So is that a challenge? Yes, but you know, I'm used to it. I'm used to struggling with that language because that's my life.
But he speaks it. I mean, he didn't learn.
No, I didn't learn it for the movie. And I study every day. My wife's Italian. I live in Rome. I'm not always there, but so we're basically talking about improvising in a second language, one that I'm not fluent in. So that is a challenge.
I guess it is.
But sometimes
with
those kind of challenges also focus you in a different way than you normally operate on. So it's, you know, a curse in disguise as a blessing, maybe.
And how will you describe your character?
I wouldn't. I think he described him. I mean, the important part is it's the daily life and a guy going through his days. And Rome is very present in very specific location. He's an American. He is learning Italian. He's teaching classes. He's preparing a new film. He's making dinner with his wife. He's going to AA meetings.
So if we look short in the future then, if we look shortly into the future, are you planning some new projects together? Or?
You got no choice.
Both of you have been in the industry for quite a long time. Is there some
what
type
are you saying?
I'm trying to say that is there some type of movie that you feel like you really want to do?
Good movies.
Good movies. Blockbusters.
Oh, no.
You really
Did I say?
What do you really want to do?
You know, I never know until I get there.
You don't know.
I never know until I get there. I just want to work with good people. I want to do stuff that matters, you know, stuff that engages me, stuff that, you know, everything goes faster as you get older.
Yeah, right,
and I just want to stay awake and get even more awake and learn things, you know, not get into the lockstep.
For me, I'd like to do Western, and I'd like to, well, he did his Vietnam movie. I'd like to do a movie about Vietnam and a Western.
Can I be in it?
You can play Berenger's part.
And William, what is important for you when you pick an acting part that you want to be a part of?
It's always different, but it's always a combination of things. But the director is very important. The adventure of where you're shooting is important. The way you're shooting is important. Yeah, I think those are the main things.
And Abbe Ferreira, will you ever consider to shoot a movie in Sweden?
Why not?
You have to talk to the Swedish Film Institute, cooperate with them.
Do what?
You have to talk to the Swedish Film Commission or Film Institute.
Yeah, where are they?
Do they listen to your show? Do they listen to your show?
Is she one of them?
Okay, but...
How do you feel about doing a Western?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jessica is up for it, you know, so she would love to have a role, you know.
You're cast.
Yeah. How about someone in your audience? All right, we're up for anything.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Thank you so much for the interview, and I hope you have a great time in Cannes.
Great, thank you.
Tonight is the premiere of the movie that everybody has been waiting for, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's finally here. And the director of the movie is Quentin Tarantino. And on the red carpet, we'll also find Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Margot Robbie.
Et nous accueillons maintenant l'équipe de Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, le nouveau film de Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino accompagné bien sûr de ses comédiens. Faites-leur un triomphe avec nous, Leonardo DiCaprio. Brad Pitt. Quentin Tarantino revient à Cannes en compétition, qui nous donne donc l'occasion de retrouver l'interprète de Gatsby le magnifique à Cannes, Leonardo DiCaprio, et qui a, vous le savez, remporté l'Oscar pour son interprétation dans The Revenant d'Alejandro González Iñárritu. Et l'équipe de Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, accueillie par Thierry Frémaux et Pierre Lescure. Le producteur de la série des Harry Potter, des Paddington et de Gravity. Tarantino qui lance un Viva el Cinéma, qui était devenu le slogan de l'affiche
the writer, the director, celebrating also, almost to this day, the 25th anniversary of his Palme d'Or for Pulp Fiction, Mr. Tarantino. The actor, Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio. The stuntman, Mr. Brad Pitt.
Peter Howell from the Toronto Star newspaper in Canada. Congratulations on a great movie. Question for Quentin Tarantino. Quentin, this topic of the Manson family has sort of possessed the public mind for about half a century, and also yourself more recently, I suppose. But can you sort of explain what you think the reason is why we're still so fascinated in this story?
That's a pretty good question. I think we're fascinated by it because at the end of the day, it almost seems unfathomable. I've done a lot of research on it, and I think a lot of people have not done professional research, but over the last few years, either they read one book or two books or listened to the podcasts that develop about it or TV specials every 3 years or so. And how he was able to get these girls and even these young boys to just submit to him, it just seems unfathomable. And frankly, the more you learn about it and the more information you get and the more concrete it gets, it doesn't make it any clearer. It actually makes it even more obscure the more you know. And I think the the unknowingness of it, the impossibility of being able to truly understand it, I think, is what causes its fascination.
Chaz.
Good morning, Chaz Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times.
Hey, Chaz.
Hi, Quentin, and RogerEbert.com. I am really happy to see you up there. I remember 25 years ago, I think,
Yeah?
buying you a plate of spaghetti on the beach. And
I remember that well.
And now you are like the hottest ticket here. My question, I said they told us to keep it to one question. I want to first thank Leonardo and Brad for the environmental and humanitarian causes you support. That's very important.
Thank you.
My question is a philosophical one. The characters did sort of a taking stock. There was a very sweetness about them taking stock of where they were in life, in their career, and in their lives. And this question is for you and Leonardo and Brad. As you take stock of your life and career, what insights can you share with us?
Kind of a heavy lifting question, Chaz.
In 25 words or less, Quentin.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can honestly say that my taking stock is different than it would have been 3 years ago or 4 years ago or even 10 years ago, almost any other time since I've known you, Chaz, because I just got married 6 months ago. In fact, you're sitting in front of, my wife is sitting in front of you. And I've never done that before, and now I know why. I was waiting for the perfect girl. So frankly, to tell you the truth, my taking stock is happening right now, so I don't have any, there's no bottom line at the end of it with a sum up, because I'm right in the middle of adding the equations to this moment. Well, is that right, dear?
Question over there. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll make it quick. Just certainly in relationship to this character, taking stock of my own life, I immediately identified with this character in a lot of ways because I grew up in the industry, and this guy is sort of on the outskirts of times that are changing, and he's sort of left behind. And it, you know, for me, ultimately, it's just an immense appreciation that I have for the position that I'm in, and the fact that this guy is suddenly sort of struggling with his own pathos, his own ability to gain confidence and persevere and get that next job. I don't know. I immediately connected with him. I have a lot of friends in the industry, and I know how lucky I am to be in this opportunity. So I just feel immense gratitude.
How do you go about this? There are two ways to go about this. Is you watch every single footage of Sharon Tate, or you just go, I don't want to watch anything about her. I will base myself and my work on the character on the page. How did you go about it?
Both, I suppose. I did a lot of research and watched and read everything I could, but at the same time, I think as an actor, our job is to understand or try and understand what purpose our character serves to the story. So more importantly, it was why is this character in the story? And to me, you know, Quentin said it to me early on, she's the heartbeat of the story. And for me, I just saw her as a ray of light, and I just wanted her to be light. And that was my job and my role to serve in this story. So I kind of applied to myself to the character in that respect, and in doing so I felt like I could honour the memory of real life Sharon Tate, who so many people said was such a bright light in this world.
Hi. Brad and Leo, what's it like for you to work together for the first time? This is the very first time, as has been reported. And have you ever missed out on roles to each other? Have there ever been times when you weren't friends? And how well did you know each other before, and how better do you know each other now?
Wow. Multitude of questions, but I think it all relates to the same thing. I think, you know, there was an incredible ease and comfort getting to work alongside Brad. I mean, we kind of grew up in the same generation, got our start around the same time. And to be honest, you know, Quentin gave us this incredible backstory for our characters. I mean, he literally came to us with a Bible of their work together, their friendship together, what they've been through in the industry, how they're now on the outskirts of this sort of new era in Hollywood, and they're outsiders. And all that sort of fed into this immediate comfort and ease that I think he and I had with one another. And look, Brad is not only a terrific actor, but he's a professional. So when Quentin puts you in these sort of improvised scenarios, and we both sort of have a great foothold on our history and our character, I have to say it was incredibly easy working with Brad. And I think we together forged, hopefully, a great cinematic bond in a film about our industry together.
I would agree. It was great ease and really great fun. I had a great laugh with him. And it's that thing of knowing you got, you know, the best of the best on the opposite side of the table, holding up the scene with you. And there's a great relief in that. And as Leo said, we have the same reference points. We kind of came on at the same time. We've been going through this at the same time. Have similar experiences to laugh about, and I hope we get to do it again. It was great fun.
Now we're at the Majestic Hotel, and today is Women in Motion, and we're gonna meet Eva Longoria, and she's gonna talk about the women in the film industry.
And I also am very excited to welcome our guest this morning, Eva Longoria.
Hi, how are you?
Actress, producer, director. How did you come into your own power as a producer?
I was on the set of Desperate Housewives. You know, it was a decade of my life, for 10 years, and I knew I wasn't reaching my full potential. Like, I would go to work, say my lines, and I would leave. And the show was the biggest show in the world at the time, and I just realized, like, I didn't have any control of which take they used, who was cast as my love interest, you know, the music or how I was edited, and I always looked at the people behind the monitor, and I was like, who are those people? And I feel like, you know, people go out, you're actor turned producer director, and I've always been a producer in my head. I've loved the business side of the industry, and so I used Desperate Housewives as my film school. I paid attention where the lights went, what the cameras do, what the lenses do, and I knew I wanted to have more control of the final product. You know, I didn't want to just go and say lines. I wanted, you know, I wanted to cast. I wanted to pick the writer. I wanted to do. And so that's really what inspired me to produce and start directing. Directing was scary. I remember I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. And somebody asked me to do it. And I go, yes. And then I went home and I went, why did I say yes? Like, I was terrified, and I think a lot of women think that. They go, I'm not ready, I need a little bit more experience, and you have to just do it. You have to just get the experience. And so, you know, I've been directing for 12 years now, and I love it. I think I'm really good at telling people what to do.
Remind us what the first thing you directed was.
It was a short film. It was for Glamour Reels. Glamour magazine used to do stories from their magazine and make them into short films, and so they would get different directors, and that was the first thing I did. Then I did a second short film called Out of the Blue with Ron Howard as my mentor. It was an action film, and that was for Canon. Canon did a whole series, a special series for their new cameras. And then I started doing TV episodic, and now I'm doing my first feature with Universal Studios, starring Kerry Washington, and it's a comedy. And
you're in it as well.
I am in that one as well, and I also, you know, I'm doing a couple pilots for television as well. So it's been fun, and yeah, I think it's important. Like, once the door is open and you're there, to leave the door open for other women. And so I produce and direct a show called Grand Hotel in the States on ABC. And we were crewing up and we were hiring, and I said, I want a female DP. And of course, everybody sends me the lists of Bob and Tom and Harry. And I said, I'm sure Bob and Tom and Harry are good, but like, I just want to be exposed to female DPs. And you know, the consensus is always, oh yeah, we didn't think of that, sure. And then they sent, you know, some names. And so we have a wonderful DP, Allison Kelly, who does Grand Hotel, our show. She also did my pilot I just did for CW called Glamorous. Amazing DP. And then when I hire her, she makes sure the camera crew hires women. So she gets women on the camera crew, women ACs, women operators, and both my assistant directors were female. Our stunt coordinator was female. Our editors were female. I mean, the majority, 7 out of 12 directors that we used in the season were female. So you're really shit out of luck if you're a man on our show, because we just fill those positions first with women, and then people of color, and then because we have to start building this pipeline of talent. If they don't get the opportunity, then how are they ever going to be ready and exposed to these experiences?
Nous accueillons maintenant l'équipe de Douleur et Gloire, le nouveau film de Pedro Almodovar. Trois ans après Julieta, le réalisateur de Tout sur ma mère ou de Colbert revient. Antonio Banderas, qui était revenu à Cannes pour présenter La Peine Garabito de Pedro Almodovar en 2011. On a vu également dans Penelope Cruz, qui a eu le prix d'interprétation féminine en 2006 pour Robert. Norma Abbas, la citoyenne de joue la série française Les Bracelets Rouges. Également Jérôme et Sophie Sélou. Membre du jury en 1992 et président du jury en 2017. L'équipe de Douleur et Gloire en haut des marches.
Now I'm sitting here with Alba August, that's a Swedish actress. Welcome to Cannes Film Festival.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
How does it feel to be in Cannes?
It's crazy to be here. I just arrived, so I'm very curious what's gonna happen. Hopefully I'll watch some movies, meet some people. Yeah, it's exciting.
You recently had a movie in Sweden that you were part of, The Young Astrid. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, the latest, like this year, we've been traveling around Europe, having premiere in France, in Italy, and German, in the US also. So we've been like traveling around with the movie, which is super exciting. I was just in Rome promoting the movie, and they seemed very like touched and emotional after and watched the movie. So yeah, it's exciting.
How does it feel to reach out to a bigger audience?
Well, it's always, you want as many people as possible to watch what you've worked with, like so that's amazing. I guess. And also to be a part of like a Netflix production, then you're like from one day to another you can do something that is shown to the whole world. It's like it's going so fast. Just yeah.
Have you get used to see yourself on the screen?
No, not really. I mean, I've tried it a few times, but it's still it's weird actually. I think. Yeah, I don't know if you ever will get used to it.
And tell us also shortly, you're also part of a TV series called Rain.
Yeah, season 2 has premiered today. So it's out now on Netflix.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm super excited about season 2. It's more like the same like action feeling as the first season, but in this season it's more. I would say that the characters get to like open up more and more feelings and more. It's more about the relationships in this season for me, and yeah, I'm very proud of it.
And also you're having a feature film coming up this fall called Quick.
Quick, yeah, about Thomas Quick, this serial killer. In September.
And what part do you have in that movie?
I play Jenny Kyttim, Hannes Råstam's researcher. So this journalist researcher. That's very exciting.
So I wish you good luck and enjoy your time in Cannes.
Thank you very much. You too.
Thank you. Tonight is a premiere of the movie A Hidden Life, and the writer and the director of this movie is Terrence Malick.
Pour les Moissons du Ciel, et une Palme d'Or en 2011 pour The Tree of Life. Jennifer Marx de Onepress, L'Empereur de Paris de Jean-François Richet. Des comédiens, du nouveau film du réalisateur américain Terrence Malick. Le nouveau film du réalisateur palmé Terrence Malick, accueilli sur les marches par Pierre Lescure. Et du directeur général d'Orange Studio, David Kessler.
Today is the press conference of the movie A Hidden Life, and the writer and director of this movie is Terrence Malick.
Yes, hi, my name is Marcus. I work for Onepress TV in Sweden. Maybe not everybody know in this room, but the Swedish actor Mikael Nyqvist that was in the movie, he's unfortunately not with us anymore. So I want to ask an open question to you. How was it to work with him, and how do you remember him?
He was very briefly there, and I had the chance to get to know him. I was shocked when I heard this, that he's gone. And I remember we spent two very nice evenings together, and I remember him as I know him from many movies too, like as an actor, but I was very pleased to meet him, and it was funny because we got along very quickly, and he was laughing a lot. He was very funny, and
he was actually, I think Terry gave him a monologue in the morning of the day of the shoot, so he was like, he learned it within an hour, I think. So yeah, he's a wonderful actor, and yeah.
Now I'm standing here with Fredrik Wikström Nicastro, that is head of the international production for SF Studios. Welcome.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be in Cannes?
It feels great. We're very excited this year because SF celebrates 100 years, but we're also very excited because we've been working a few years to set up international production from SF and from Sweden, and we are just now in post-production of the first film.
Mm-hmm. So what's challenging are you facing now, though, when you're going to do international productions?
The biggest challenge, I think, is when you do films in English, you automatically compete with Hollywood. When you make something in Swedish, you are not really competing, you're on the sideline. So when you compete with Hollywood, you have to be on those standards. The script and the execution and the visuals and the actors has to be on a Hollywood level. That's the biggest challenge. You have to really step up.
And how is it with the financing? Will that also be a problem then, a challenge?
If you have a good project, finding money isn't really a problem. So I think the problem is finding a good project and developing that. So right now we don't think that finding this money for the films is the problem, but getting the scripts right and getting the right actors, that's more challenging.
Can you tell us shortly what you have in the pipeline in the near future?
We have about 10 projects in the pipeline. And a couple of projects that I can share today is that we are doing a upcoming Jo Nesbø novel called I Am Victor, which is an entertaining thriller in the same tone as Headhunters, but this is in English language. Headhunters was in Norwegian. It's not connected to any other Jo Nesbø book. It's a standalone, and it's going to be directed by Baltasar Kormákur, who is an Icelandic international director who did Everest and Contraband and big Hollywood hits. He's attached to direct, and Jo Nesbø is writing the novel, and we are developing the script based on a treatment that he wrote for the novel first. So the novel isn't published yet. So that is a project we're very excited about. Another project is a man called Ove, which is an American remake of the Swedish film that we did. We were so lucky because this Swedish book became a bestseller in the States. The book has been #1 on the New York Times bestseller list and has sold several million copies in the US. And we have Tom Hanks, very engaged and attached to play Ove. And he's also active as a co-producer with us. So we're working with Tom and his wife Rita Wilson, who's also a producer, to make it a reality. And we hope to shoot it next year. Okay. But that is going to be shot in America. It's going to be an American setting of Ove this time.
Interesting to hear. So I wish you good luck then.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now we're on the top of the castle, and today is a press lunch that Cannes Film Festival has invited us to, and also the jury of the film festival is going to attend the press lunch. So now we're going to enjoy the dinner.